Off to the horses. Isn't that what they say in England?
Sometimes.
Off with the horses? I don't know. Assume it's 2. Because we ride to Skyscraper. Thinking of it, it's probably like the worst map to actually ride to, considering it's the high up. Imagine getting a horse up there. Alright, now, horses aside, enough horsing around. We are headed towards Skyscraper for this next best of 3. One of these 2 teams able to join the top 4 and start fighting and continue fighting for the title.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I'm just so excited to see how this is going to go. Obviously, there is an element of heartbreak that might come through here because, you know, these are kind of 2 teams that you want to see go to the very, very end, but it really does stand paramount just to what we've witnessed so far throughout this season of South Breach. You know, from the get-go, even in the group stage, I was like, every single team that's qualified is absolutely lovely. You know, so much potential. I will be honest, like, I think this has been the best season of T2 Siege yet. And especially this competitive year has been absolutely phenomenal in terms of the way that things have started to piece together over time. And again, it's kind of heartbreaking when you think about some of the ups and downs that have occurred in South Breach, but Panahorne back against the wall a little bit. Have a little bit of a lifeline here with a slightly weakened Good Intentions. And again, they're starting on the defense in this opening map. Remember, last time these 2 went head to head on it. It did go in the favor of Good Intentions, a 7-5, I believe, in that best of 3 series in Rumble.
Setting up a sequential breach.
The Good Intentions, you've got a lot of firepower behind them, and again, it's a nice even spread of firepower. It's not just 1 or 2 players that'll pop off. It's a very capable roster, very capable 5-stack. That can sometimes spell a little bit of a danger element, which is why that border's going to be an interesting one, but we have to start here. Greg's lurking around that back stairs as the pressure comes in from that Blackbeard from Venoms. Poking at these windows on this rappel as well. The gate of wall is now open. Yep. Intentions just going for the motions, for standard motions, Hap.
The defaults, the step-by-steps, the however you want to call it. But now everything is just being hauled off tightly. The Scorpion rips. However's unable to find player on the other side of that window. Drills, they can fight. The challenge is coming in from behind Dragon now. It's a very rough position to actually fight, but a lot of damage done to Hova as he tried to lock himself in that position. It's Karaoke T now under control by the attackers. There we go. Yeah, Venom struggled getting up here a little bit. That minute left on the clock. They need to go all the way towards Exhibition. That's going to be a long run. Venom is the one that is using that shield. That will take at least, you know, 10, 15 seconds before he's actually out there. Then he needs to start challenging. It's still a 5-on-5. Crix has still 3 death marks left he can use to chase. But the most important thing is that you're not giving him the opportunities of picking up these 1v1 fights. As the fallback comes in, Crix finds Hova. As I just said, you don't want to give him these fights. It's exactly what they did. As the hunt now starts, he's unable to actually find the very first person. It's been denied by the Tiburao. The CSK takes small amounts of damage, but with 25 seconds left, the execute comes in now. They need to start pushing through. Right. As 10 seconds hit the clock, Drills looking to find an impact. Will find a kill for the efforts. Rastin finds one as well. Drills goes big. However, that diffuser is down on the ground, and the time is going to tick down zeros as the plant will be attempted, and Cracks with a huge 1-pick, but the plant gets denied. He went off at the final second. I mean, he was in the middle of the hole. He was guaranteed to die. And Panahone escaped with their lives there. It's Cracks. I mean, a huge effort from him, again, showing why he is such an important player. And, you know, this is gonna go on again, like teams are going to be looking at players, right? If they don't make it towards the EMLCS, if they don't make it through EMLCS, Krex is really putting in a good word for himself here. And I hate to say, like, you know, teams will fall apart. Like, ideally, you'd have them all stick together, but let's just go. Like, the man is currently, let's see, plus 30. Make that, yeah, plus 30 right now on his KD over the tournament.
Camera ready.
He's about to hit 100 kills if he hits one more in this game. That's one of those players that is going to be catching eyes.
Razor wire.
Good Intentions are doing a very good job of, again, just keeping
5 seconds
as
remaining.
consistent as they can where they can in other tournaments. It's just that South Breach is, you know, that's the big leagues. That's the one where you really want to make it count a bit more. And yeah, as you touched on it, it's good advertisement for these players. I want this roster to stay together, though. This game, Venom's brothers in arms, and again, I've said for the longest time, Venom's
Reloading.
very well be a future T1 support player.
On the prowl.
They'll put on a very good run of it. Again, seeing Krex and Oscar back in T1 will be a really lovely thing.
Fill 'em out.
Good Intentions as well. They won the King Showdown, I believe. That happened the other day. Got themselves a nice little bit of pocket money out of it. Speaking of nice things, Oscar, opening pick in his favor. That's the pulse gone as well. It's that cardiac sensor and all the info. But not only Nick could have fed to Panahone, but he could have reacted on himself. Now ripped from their hands. Only the house cams, which 9 times out of 10 are going to get dealt with very, very swiftly as this approach comes in. And Hornet have to be careful here. Loads of util to hide around though. Double trap and the toxic babes. As Lambe gets tagged up significantly. A run out, shut down Oscar. His old brother in Lambe dealing with him as Halbert will take out CSK. Loads of time right now for Good Intentions to work with as well. They can set up nicely here. Two-pronged approach. Beautiful work. Krex dealing with Halva. Giving that breathing space, giving that freedom. As Rastin rushes forward to try and shut things down, but Krex is there with the trade. A 1v3 now. Nifsu, bless him. Toxic Babe will go out, and that's going to help him get back down. The drop through the hatch, I believe, has already happened. Drills from the stairs. Gonna take him out. A very easy read there. Good Intentions, 1 round on the board.
So 1-1, nice little back and forth trade. Could be the remainder of the game as well. You know, we're kind of at this point in the tournament where everybody's just going to be so closely matched to one another that it wouldn't be weird to be seeing these one-on-one trades coming through, like round after round after round.
Attackers need to locate and defuse the bomb.
And those are the most exciting games of Siege, because who starts breaking that trend first? Of course, it's only been 2 rounds. We don't really speak of the trend yet. But will it come into fruition?
Device all reinforced. All secure. Deploying razor wire. Place device.
10 seconds to go.
Placing toxin. Device placed.
As the next round is about to start, I was gonna say, like, Good Intentions for these 2 rounds have looked good on the attack. Of course, the first one went to Panahone, but was quite close. Cannot really say that that was a clear-cut victory for the side of Panahone. And with that, Good Intentions, of course, will be feeling themselves quite comfortable knowing what is still to come. Now, of course, that will change if Panahone suddenly decide to win all defensive rounds, like, massively and without any opposing force. But these first 2 rounds have looked really good. They've looked in control. Let's see if they can extend it into a 3rd.
get open relatively quickly. That's already putting a lot of pressure directly onto this hold above. Getting good intentions, they've been really quick work of giving themselves as many options and as many points of pressure. You know, Skyscraper, it can be a difficult one if you're not keeping your eye on the time or moving your way quick enough through the map, but good intentions, they've been really good at doing that, really respecting the flow of things. Deathmark is going to give a little bit of the game away as well, because yes, whilst it gives Krex information, it also gives Panahoni a little bit of an insight as to where Krex himself will be lurking. So Panahoni, they know this is a multi-pronged approach. They know their attention's going to be split. That might make things get a little bit tighter.
Mate. Picks up Seasuke. Great start, but the main threat is Krex. Currently on 101 kills for the tournament. There you go. Found out. Taken down. Absolutely huge. The trade will come through as Nifsu goes down. Venom's taking small amounts of damage from that smoke canister, but they're about to break through on that main floor. Rastin going in a DB&O as well is going to be quite painful for the side of Panahona because they had the advantage and it's starting to slip away, but there's still a man up on the top floor as they're trying to chase him out. Actually, the drop came through. And the Nitrocell will find Venoms, and Panahone finding themselves with a round they actually seemingly control here for once. And Oscar, the last man, has a dream, has a goal. Whether he achieves it or not is the big question. So we're counting down, the diffuser is down on the opposite side of house, the top floor. And as he slowly creeps in, Nick comes in from the bathroom. Not even. Or just through the bathroom as he gets the final kill.
Panahoni just playing very passive and sharp, that really helped them as well, because again, there were so many things that they had to watch out for, and they did a good job of keeping on top of it. Have to take your hats off. I'm very curious to see if this will start to be a back and forth between these two, because again, I wouldn't be too shocked. I don't think anyone else would be shocked either. Two of the best teams in the T2 circuit going head to head like this. You want to see, oh, there we go. The Deimos being banned out, of course.
Surprised it wasn't banned first.
Again, Krex on the Deimos, so like nasty shenanigans. So, I think the Valkyrie being banned is very sensible from good intentions too, because you're removing a lot of information from Panahone, allowing yourselves to get a little bit sneaky on these approaches. Still got the Dokkaebi as well, so again, it's this idea of, okay, you can still get a little bit of info, you can use that global util just to give you the sound cue, of course.
Device placed.
And they're good enough to be reactive to that as well, immediately follow up with a push. Lovely extension as well coming out already from Panahone. Making sure... Yeah, okay, we've understood this now. They're going for full clearance, so we need to kind of have that slight extension ourselves.
5 seconds to insertion.
We'll see if this means that we're going to get an aggressive geisha hold come out as well.
Out to defuse a bomb.
If they're going to reinforce it.
As subtle as a nuke.
Perimeter defense online.
Grismot, double utility on that doorway, the Vulcan and the Grismot. There's a lot to play around as well when you're holding back that push from that side. See where good intentions end up, because they might choose to go direct. This is a beauty sometimes of Skyscraper, right? You can go direct if you want to, as long as you've got the right util to do so. And if you notice that there's only like a few people around site, already making quick work of sending Nick away from that wall. That wall's going to open. There we go. Pressure already established at the top of house stairs. That's a little bit uncomfortable for Panahone as well. Already that pressure point being established, even if no one's being aggressive on it. Again, phantom pressure. We talk about it all the time, Hap.
Yeah, for sure. However, though, picking up a great kill onto Venoms. Removing him off the board. More importantly, the twitch of the board. Might be like, why the twitch? Well, Zap drone, of course, a shock drone can detonate those Goya pockets. 30 seconds for each of them that it burns. And keeping them in pocket is going to make them so much more slower on the approach and the attack, because those choke points are going to be one by one, burned to a crisp. Ash charge used to get rid of the shield. Oh, Hova just stood there. Gets the kill. I'm not even sure where the Ash charge went. Maybe a magnet caught it? I'm not quite sure. But instantly afterwards, we do see the fire from the Goyo canister popping. Oscar is holding a very tight angle, hoping to catch the one player inside the drum out.
Reloading!
The fire is keeping Krex at bay, and as soon as he's reloading, the FO12 comes in. I mean, if you're struggling fighting a man one-on-one, you just bring that auto shotgun. CSK will get the trade, but at least Krex is neutralized. The biggest threat on the side of good intentions. And as Oscar swings around the corner on the top of Shrine, Lambe peeks back up. And CSK, the last man standing, has got to cool down the round slightly, as things are not going his way. 40 seconds, single HP point to your name, and the diffuser in pocket. What can he do?
Very little, to be honest. You only got this double Holding Dragon. And if you get one, the trade is there. There we are. I mean, that was really lovely from Halva and Lambe. Let's not get it twisted. Like, that was a really lovely little duo play that they were bringing to Dragon. I think for Panahorne there, they did a really good job of just extending themselves a little bit, creating a few kind of almost like maybe it's a psychological warfare, I'll say. Especially given how quickly Good Intentions were applying that pressure. Teamwork makes for dream work, and Panahorne, they didn't lose themselves, they didn't get over aggressive, and again, it's this fear factor you have kind of going into it on the side of Panahorne. You're thinking like, oh, they've been so passive at times. They've really not seemed confident, and now it feels like they've shaken off that cobweb that they were experiencing. The confidence is there. They're communicating well. Halva, again, you know, we touched on this at the start of the series. Halva has really stepped up in the last few play days. Inside, you know, Lambe and Nick, we expect big things from them, but Halva really has been a valuable asset recently to the side of Panahorne, and it's very promising to see.
It is promising to see, and Panahorne, as they are starting to look more and more in control of these rounds. Of course, what I said, like, yeah, those first two, they looked like Good Intentions had them in the bag. One of them only went their way. These other two that we've had afterwards, Panahorne, they've been the ones in control, the ones in charge, and they've also banked those rounds. Managed to get one more round on the board. They find themselves in good company as Krex is going to get himself caught. A little bit of a baiting play coming through. Nick was sacrificed, but Hova finds Krex as a result. The Logi bombs off the board. The opportunity to hack the cameras from the defenders off the board. More importantly, your top frager and top performer, rising star, whatever you want to call him, is not playing this round either.
Activating.
So it could be probably hurts more losing that than losing the tubs right now. Well, Selmas are going to do bits here, but you've still got the toxic babes. And give yourself that little bit of cover as well if you need it. Also, 3 Keebers in a pocket of Lambe as well. Toss him out to his heart's content. But this is a threat factor again. Oscar being downstairs. The rest of them can come below as well. I see pressure come up the back stairs. They're able to combine it at the right time with pressure up the geisha stairs as well. That might be a little bit nasty, especially when you focus so much around kind of defending this dragon and terrace side. Good Intentions, a really good adjustment here coming out from them, Hap.
Minute left. Venom's trying to get rid of that barbed wire. Player close on a shotgun, but the question is, will that be checked? Yes, there will be, but they're also going for the run out. They realize he's alone on the balcony, and they take out the shield, and Rastin finds one more. We're in a 2v2 now. CSK dropped, and with that, the diffuser on the ground as well. Oscar finding himself a mezzanine. Trying to sneak around. He finds himself in the middle of T. As he steps around, unaware of where the second player is. He knows one is inside a karaoke. Sees him run, cannot connect the shots. That will give away the game. As he's slowly swinging around, spots the head of Hova. The shotgun shell is made! Oscar! Clutches it out for good intentions, maybe. A bit too eager to take the fight there.
Large. Reach 2. And again, this is again credit where credit's due. You've got to really respect on the side of good intentions. It's these little moments that you talk about of teams all the time where it's like, okay, we need to have a little bit of adjustment. They went for the adjustment. They were able to try and make something work there. Granted, it came down to a 1 versus 1. But that's the kind of thinking that you want to see from every single team on these attacks during South Breach, and it's why there's been massive frustration moments with a lot of these rosters. They're just not quite changing things quick enough as things start to fall apart. When you lose important pieces of util, or when you realize there's a lot of pressure in one part of the map, especially on a map like this, again, large, it's very, very easy to waste a lot of time on the approach. Good intentions, really showing the caliber of that roster. And again, yes, in his final moments, yeah, 1 versus 1, but you can see the experience ring through, and that's how they're clutching it out. Final round of the half. Will this be a 3-3 split? Good intentions. Again, the way that they play on these defenses is very, very pleasant on Skyscraper as well. To reiterate, last time these guys went head-to-head with one another, it was a 7-5 victory in the end to Good Intentions on Skyscraper in that best-of-3 series towards the end of Rumble.
Patiently waiting to find out where this fight starts. Cracks sneaking around. Been dealing well with him, to be honest. He's 5-4. He's not making any big numbers appear on the board, as he allows the Logi Bomb to be called for the first time. Hova is playing underneath them.
Time to ring some ears.
If they move over mezzanine, Hova has a great opportunity to strike. If they just let him be, he could be coming up the staircase on the rear to take 1 or 2, maybe even 3 out. That is something to keep in mind now, because Venoms is starting to make that push happen, and in the meantime, Nisser and Rastin will both find some kills. Hey, that's the call, that's the blitz, there's someone else moving in as well. Smoke canisters will be popped out right after, and Hova will be called to action. He needs to start moving. As Venom takes a small amount of damage. Oscar recovering that diffuser. They are inside, right behind the minibar. Another smoke canister popped. Nifsu not able to actually do the damage necessary. Cracks up quite close to provide some cover. Another smoke canister used as Oscar taking quite loads of damage. They're all to just about 1 HP. There is still the impact below from Hova. Even if they manage to make it out of this alive, as it's just left the cracks now. The impacts could do the final bidding. And as we slow down in this round, cracks, the man of the hour of so many games before. Alambe watching him as he slowly snuck up and got taken out. A 4-2 split for the side of Panahone. That is pretty decent. That is something they can work with as they go over to their attacks.
I can argue it's good because of the fact that they denied the kind of 3-3 split, especially given how Defend decided this map can be. They did a really good job, especially in that last round, of pushing back the kind of furiosity that was starting to build up and be attempted by Good Intentions. But now they're going onto that back foot. Now they're going onto that slightly more difficult side. The Kaid and the Bandit being banned. So again, they really want to focus on opening up these walls, these externals, as quick as possible. It can kind of sometimes imply, okay, maybe they're going to go a bit more direct, you know, Good Intentions, they went for full clearance, they were opening up as many options as they possibly could, you know, with really good time as well. cannot emphasize that enough. Panahone, they might try and force things by being a bit more direct, by cutting out that middle ground. Opening externals and trying to apply pressure, maybe even from below, above, very, very quickly. I'm kind of starting in a... It's slightly off-site. We don't really get to see this site that much. Intentions kind of mixing up a little bit, going for that bathroom, bedroom area. Where again, sometimes people like to be cheeky. If they're going direct, sometimes they just like to jump into that closet. So you do need that extension upstairs, which I believe, of course, Good Intentions will have. Even extending as far to Geisha. Again, options. Giving yourself so many options, so many angles, so many things to work with. And that's something Panahone themselves now need to establish.
Pressure. Both these teams will rise with every round we go, because every round we progress is one closer to the end for one of them. Panahone, as they have that lead, of course, will be on the more difficult site now. Be looking to open up over the top like it's normal exhibition. Push Hova gets himself peeked by Cracks, who goes for the run out. And how often we've seen Cracks running around with that K1A on Vigil. Be a menace. Self-supporting, using the ERC-7 to not be spotted out by drones. It is just such a pain to do with a player like that. It really is. Find Cracks and win the round. Reloading. Not negatively meant, but it's like that's what their initial focus is.
Some respect on Oscar's name, please. C4 misses. Nifsu's a little bit tagged though. And you have got to be careful. Oscar coming in from the mez side. Yes, we are trying to establish this control in office. You're trying to look for that Verti. There's danger lurking just around the corner. Drills. Four keepers in pocket. Aston dealing with Cracks. That's a Vigil gone. That's that sneaky little approach. Loads of mute jammers as well, extended out and about, making sure that they're denying a lot of info from the side of Panahone. That allows Drills to get a little bit up close and personal here. Venom's on the approach as well on that Frost. Spray and pray, but Lambe gets it. Stays alive. Holds onto that pressure. Drills with the follow-up. Oscar one onto Rastin. Falling apart a little bit here for Panahone. Got sight control at least. They do have that shield. Yes, the mirror windows work both ways here. Oscar dealing with Nifsu. Nick now left in a 1 versus 2, but again, one of the more flashy players on the side of Panahone. Can he do it? Can he get this 1v2? No, he cannot. Shotgun to the face. Tale as old as time. I've got a corner and I've got a shotgun. Guess who's winning that gunfight?
Closing the gap here, Good Intentions, as they are pushing for that 4-4 initially and trying to make it rocket afterwards. And Panahone quite close though there. They actually had a little bit of side control. The verticality eventually made it so teammates were no longer there for the side of Lambe.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Panahone losing it out as they were trying to take this site. But we're going back to what the more orthodox sites, the top floors, Karaoke Tea, eventually exhibition afterwards. And let's see what they can bring over here. Again, still have plenty of rounds to play here. Good Intentions is still trying to find their way back up to equal numbers. All they need is an extra round to do so. And that's when the sprint really kicks off.
Now you see me, now you don't.
No one there. Nice attempt. Good throw as well. That's
Learn some.
baseball terms. Has a good arm. I think. I don't know. I don't watch baseball. Just something I've heard.
And only once again just making sure they're going for full clearance, full coverage. Mixing up a little bit compared to what we thought they'd do based on previous games we've seen from them throughout this season. Don't want to make any mistakes here. They're being very sensible, very cautious. I think that is the right approach to take. Externals being open nice and swiftly, of course. Limited things to hold on to that if you're good intentions. You've only really got those mute jammers. Oscar. And take care of Lambe very swiftly. Nifsu is going to fall to the hands of Krex as well. I think opening some pressure around Geisha might cause a little bit of a distraction. Again, sometimes it's like, hey, you have bodies in one area. If you can at least try and establish pressure points using utility and using heartbeats just to open up a few additional angles that you could enter from, that puts pressure on the side of good intentions. They're kind of hightailing it back to site now. You've managed to give yourself the clearance on this side of the map, and that's really good going.
That'll hold. Keep us set. Reloading.
Slow and steady, holding tight. There's no need to move here for good intentions. You just hold. Move needs to be made by the attackers. The flashbangs come through. Nick somehow makes it through because there was cover. There's actually someone still in Geisha as well. It's a surprise he actually got that far as Hova lines one up, gets the kill. Not quite sure where the others are. Start pre-firing through the wall. Still needs to find 4. This one is crossing over. A little bit of damage done to CSK. Hova's still quite healthy. Has to be afraid. There's going to be all kinds of shenanigans he has to watch out for. As the flashbang comes out, he's waiting for a potential jump out from Shrine. It's just not coming. Now with the time that's left, they're all stacked up close. They're all ready to rumble, ready to bring it to him. And of course the run out will happen any second now because none of these players can sit still for longer than 3 seconds. Actually, they behave themselves. Okay, fair to them.
Yeah, I think they're expecting the run-in. Then again, in those moments, okay, the flash comes out, immediately Warden ability gets popped. And it's like, okay, they were expecting at least an attempt for that push in there. Didn't end up coming. 4-4 now. Very solid defense there from good intentions as well. Just really not being pressured enough by Panahorne. Panahorne were attempting it. We spoke of this, opening up as much as they could, starting to poke at those holes in various places, but good intentions just really being mindful. About not just getting silly with it, not just needlessly throwing bodies away as well.
Swapping mags!
You even touched on it. It's even those final moments, like they're just having a bit more patience now starting to come out. Not making the job harder for yourselves by getting over enthusiastic, shall we say?
Activating jammer.
10 seconds to go.
Keep us strikes true.
I want to see where these Denaris are out and about. I think there's one there around that. Yeah, one on drum.
I actually like it on Skyscraper. No, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I like it on Skyscraper because there's so many places to hide them. And it's just like one extensive net. But still, the point stands that I'm ready to see the impact of them.
I don't think a really nice one actually is, okay, you've got that really long one where one's on drum and then they've got it kind of going deep along Mez. So if you're approaching kind of around T and Shrine, you can shoot them out, but it's having utility there in areas, and it's kind of what Sham discussed at the start of the night, right? You have these areas where it's high traffic. And that's where maybe you get a bit more bang for your buck.
You know what I think would be funny if you create an orbital beam with it, and with it I mean like put all but one on one side of a window or door, and then put one on the opposite side of the window door, and then just barricade off the door. So as soon as someone opens it up, it's just all the laser beams just suddenly appear in front of their face.
But then you've only got one on one side that you have to shoot out.
Yeah, but if that's hidden, they won't see until they open the door. And some people, you know, will open the door when they're standing in front of it, and then they just get beamed.
We'll get an assassin later and try it out.
Yes. Trust me, I have a plan.
Oscar, aware of a rustling just round the corner on this office balcony. C4 in hand. You choose to go aggressive. It's just going to reinforce it up instead.
Wall secured.
However, probably sat there like, oh, I should have maybe pushed there. Rastin dealing with Krex. Drills dealing with Halver. Baiting for that push from Rastin as well. Baiting for the trade. It's Nifsu on this blitz. It's going to start trying to lead the cavalry from this Geisha side. And again, you know, there are Denaris around that kind of drum mez area. We speak about how aggressive people tend to play around here, but instead they've kind of relied on the Kiba. I mean, some dodgy Kibas, but some Kibas nonetheless. It slowed down the approach somewhat. Rastin getting a cheeky little shot there onto Oscar as well. Not sure if that was intentional. This K just lurking in this lounge area by that small bar. He's the next line of defense. A readjustment of that mute jammer as well, just to hold back any drones, any information that may come through.
Not just that, also the blitz. Whenever it turns the corner, it's not going to be able to use a flash on that flash shield. As Rastin puts up a little bit more pressure. A down comes in into Rastin, drills the last man standing as he's holding on tight. Confirm won't succeed, but with 10 seconds left, the pressure's definitely out there. He finds another one. He gets the punch over, and Nifsu will secure the ramp for Panohane, but that was way too close for comfort. And that's what I meant. Like, you saw that mute jammer there? He couldn't flash. He was forced to go for the knife at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely that. Again, it's a really sensible thing to do in those moments. Just move that mute jammer. You deny the drones, deny the flash. You even denied the Grimbees, I believe, as well, right? So it's you know, giving yourself a lot of options there to kind of hold back that push. But the thing that you can't really hold back in that round, evidently, was Rastin. Rastin went absolutely nuclear in that round. So much life coming out of that player, and again, it's something you see from him now and again. Where you're just like, goodness me, Rastin, we know you have that dog in you, but it's lovely to see it unleashed. And really, again, that kind of coming down to the nail just based off of time. Panohane, yes, doing a good job of getting clearance, getting those picks under their belt, but you need to be a bit more mindful about that timer. This is Skyscraper, large maps, that time, that acts often as a sixth defender. You can be even crueler when it comes to these bigger maps.
I hope people didn't hear me sneeze. I couldn't mute the mic in time.
I did not hear you sneeze, don't worry.
Good. Oh.
Camera feed running.
A close game. Panohane. 5. Good intentions. 4. Could still go either way. And the thing is, Panohane on the attack, if they find themselves a good opening or two, suddenly you are in such a good position to put yourself into a map point position. In a pole position. Barbecue, actually, we're playing as the tertiary side. I think we will be seeing the other top 4, but good intentions, not having it as of yet. Maybe they will go to the quaternary side afterwards. It's a word I don't often get to use anymore. Pressure onto the bathroom.
Activating shock drone.
Wondering exactly where all these defenders are set up and what kind of verticals they have. With 2 minutes left. Oh, Nick, very close to actually finding a head here. Just... oh no, never mind. It's an optical illusion.
We can assume a few lines of sight happening in Geisha and Geisha Connector. And even if they're not there, you've got the shotgun to try and establish it as the round progresses. Double SAS is always a nice thing to hold on to these top floors with. Yes, you got the SMG-11, but you've also got those shotguns for the close range. Panahone right now investing a lot of utility to give them a little bit of wiggle room to cut off some of these sight lines so they can sneak towards the back stairs with Nifty. Look at this, he's getting away with it. Trying to move like a ninja in the night, but again, you've got that heavy shield. Someone's going to clock on eventually.
Oh, the head missed a couple of times by Lambe there. Free pick lost, and Venoms races around the corner, finds the kill. CSK will drop though. But you still have two people close around the back stairs. Those 50 seconds, the movements need to be made as Drills is trying to hold on to the best of his abilities towards that top floor. We've forced back into Geisha now. As a hatch he can drop through. Snick will find Venoms. The man advantage is here for Panahone. As they slowly move up. Again, this is the map pick of good intentions. And whilst Cracks and Oscar are having incredible games, Drills is also doing not too bad for himself. It is Oscar that picks up a kill. Nifsu didn't quite spot him as he ran across, but will be punched over. Cracks loses his life. Oscar coming in from the rear right now, spots some legs, but the time's about to be running out. It's actually the diffuser out there. Nifsu cannot go for the plant if he's being challenged like this. Rastin comes around. It's a 1v1. He's going for the plant attempt and the verticality. It's not quite there. He cannot quite get it. Drills, no! Drills couldn't position himself the right way. He's running downstairs. There is still a down player. It's not the opportunity to pick him up. There is some pings coming through as they know where he is, and the pre-fires out there. Drill's going quite low. Is literally a bullet for either player as he gets himself inside near the diffuser. All he needs to do is land a single shot, but there's a shield in front of him, so you see him aim for the legs. It's either the legs or the head he needs to find, and the time is slowly starting to run out here. The Deagle is coming in. It hit hard, but there's not that much ammo. Nifsu sends Panahone to 6.
Match point for Panahone, and again, forcing that objective in those final moments really gave them the breathing space. We talk about this all the time being the 6th defender. As soon as that plant is down, it's the 6th attacker. Unfortunate for good intentions, they weren't able to deny it on the vertical. Almost heartbreaking in those moments. And again, you've got to do a 1v1 versus a Blackbeard from a little bit of distance.
Defenders protect
Not
your
the most
bomb.
ideal.
Defused by attackers.
One more round is all Panahone need. Not only take the map, but to take their opponent's map pick and have a little bit of revenge from the last best of 3. Where good intentions were able to defeat them here. Really good showing so far on these attacks from Panahone. Again, especially given how much they've started to struggle at times. Taking the initiative on attacks, it feels like they've shaken that off entirely. They're locked in, they're ready, they're focused. But can they continue that? Or will they start to overthink things?
Drone is active.
Those 6 on the board are helpful already. EMP impact will allow the Excaros to blow up, opening Geisha towards the wider audience.
Start loaded.
And Panahone eyeing things up. Some good drones in the actual site. Will give quite some clarity. Isu, whilst being afraid of a potential run out happening. Actually, Venoms that jumps out and finds a kill. A great use as well of the Tubarão. In case any claymores would have been placed. Not thinking there were any, but just a precaution that counts. You will find the first. It's a great start for good intentions to try and get themselves back into this. This they've kind of been lacking behind these last couple of rounds, where Panahana is taking control and find themselves on a map point, not one but two. Smoke bolts come in, but Geisha is still deadly to enter. Krex laying that around drum, he needs to be taken care of. And this is the more default hold nowadays. People figured out, well, Geisha, it's just hard to hold. So the solution is to... Oh, the flashbang's coming in! And they missed the opportunity of catching Krex. He's actually moving back in with a Mad Lad. Is Hova trying to go for the swing? Actually loses his life. He finds two. I mean, cannot really blame Hova. He was trying to open up as CSK finds one. Nisu gets one himself, but he's outside. And as he tries to still make something happen, he brings it back to a 1v3. He's on the rappel, so he'll be using that advanced movement to bring himself over towards the black balcony, but as soon as he rappels in, there might actually be a swing out from these players. Preventive track stingers to stop them from doing so. And Krex is low. He knows where some are. Drills taking small amounts of damage. And the pre-fire actually almost paying off here. As the Keeper Barrier blocks one line aside. He's getting himself in. Krex is found. Oh, another one! A quad kill for Nipsu! This could be a huge ace to clutch out the round. All he needs to do is find the final player. 18 seconds is plenty of time. The pre-fires keep on hopping through. He sees him. He doesn't die initially as he steps in for the other end. Oh! 1, 2! You're an absolute beast! An ace clutch! A 1v5 to get the round! What? MVP is right. I mean, there's nothing more to say about that. That is a tilt.